Hi all, I'm Colette and I'm here today from Which Ways to talk to you about creating a summer solstice ritual, how to do it, and one way that you might carry it out. You can of course adapt this to yourself, and I'm also going to share how to adapt it to a group. Let me know in the comments if you're planning on doing anything magical for summer solstice, or if you even celebrate it. Not everyone does, and that's fine. Enjoy! What is summer solstice and what are its magical abilities? In the northern hemisphere, it's the time of year when the longest day occurs and the shortest night. It's the time energetically in nature when things stop expanding and getting bigger and start to move towards specialization, towards harvest, towards creating fruit and seed. For humans, it's a powerful time to pull in the sun's energy and that radiant, powerful creative force. You can also work with it in your life around making choices and committing and focus. It's a great time of year to do that as well. In some ways, the energy of summer solstice is very similar to the full moon's energy of culmination, only the focus tends to be warmer, a little more fiery in nature, and it also has a bit of an overworld quality to it as opposed to the moon's sort of undercurrent of dreamy, soft, intuitive magic. Creating a ritual is a very personal endeavor, and what I'm hoping for here is to offer kind of a template that you can personalize or expand on to make it more meaningful to you. I'm going to share the solo method first and then the group ritual after. And this ritual could be done at any time of day. It can be done at night, it can be done indoors or outdoors, whatever works for you. Being clear on your purpose or your intention is really important, whether you're doing a ritual or a simple spell. The intention of this particular ritual, that you can of course change, is to call on the beneficial, abundant, creative, passionate power of the sun and the summer to honor the season and call it into your life. This ritual also helps you align yourself more with the seasonal energetic flow so that your magical workings are easier and have more strength behind them. Here are some things you might need for this ritual. Feel free to substitute, leave things out, change it to suit your purpose. None of this is set in stone. I start with greenery, plants, flowers that are at their peak at this time of year. I particularly like daisy-like flowers because they have that cute little round center with little ray petals coming out around them that mimics the shape of the sun. So I often will pick things like daisies, chamomile, calendula, feverfew, St. John's wort, and of course I add roses because right now they're at their peak. I also include lavender because it's just starting to bloom right now and it's soothing and calming, which can help with some of that frenetic energy that some people experience from the summer. It just helps to mitigate some of that intensity of fire. You will also need 2 cups or glasses of water or whatever ritual beverage you want to work with, and something to represent the power of the sun. This can be a garden plaque of the sun that you can get from a nursery or a terracotta store. It can be a candle, as long as it's well away from the foliage and greenery that you have on your altar, or it can just be a picture of the sun or a picture that represents a good summer memory for you. Again, feel free to change this up, but I like to start by clearing and blessing the space. You can do that in whatever way feels right to you and is resonant with your particular background, lineage, and culture. If you want, you could lay out an altar cloth. That could be any colors you choose. I personally like warm colors, fire colors, yellows, golds, oranges, reds, White is also good because the sun, after all, is a star. But for you, you might have a different idea of what summer represents. For you, it could be all about swimming and visiting the forest and lakes. And so you might choose to have a different color or theme for your altar cloth. You can also just lay your altar cloth directly on the floor, the ground, or a table. I like to start by taking a breath and centering myself and being quiet for a minute or two. That's up to you. If it's part of your practice, you might pull down some energy from the sky, some of that magic of it, some magic of the deep earth up into your body to help you expand and be more open if you choose. My next step would be to start to lay out the plants and flowers and greenery on my altar. This is a step that I feel it's good to take your time with. Experiment with different geometric shapes and putting flowers on different levels. And don't be afraid to take your time to get it how you want it so that it feels right and delightful for you. You can, of course, also just put flowers in a vase with the greens if you have a limited space to create an altar. Then the next step that I would do is to place that object that represents the sun on the altar. Again, take your time with this. I feel that one of the ways we actually develop our intuition is by playing with how we want our altars to look. Personally, at this point, I would cast a circle, but whether you do that or not is up to you. And if you're lighting a candle, I would do it at this point. Then I would pick up one of the cups of your ritual beverage, hold it in my hands, and sit quietly. I would just let words and sentences come up through me and speak them as I feel called about the ways that I am grateful for the sun, for summer, and for the impact it has on food, animals, and the earth. Because I live in the Pacific Northwest and climate change and poor forest management practices have super impacted the land, it's created a situation where many years we have out of control wildfires. So personally, I might ask the sun be gentle on the forest and land and provide only enough fires for continued forest health and growth. Using any technique that is familiar and comfortable to you, then I would charge that ritual cup or beverage with gratitude and appreciation for the sun and the season. Place it on the altar. At this point, you might choose to have a personal wish for the summer that you speak aloud or write down on a piece of paper. You can also place that piece of paper on the altar, or you can burn it in a fireproof container if that feels right to you. Then I would place the second cup of liquid on the altar, your ritual beverage, and then I would walk 3 times around the altar. If your altar is against the wall like this one is, I would take my hand and move clockwise 3 times around the altar. And the purpose of this is to charge and open your altar and activate it. Then spend some time sitting quietly, breathing out gratitude towards your altar and the season, and breathing in the energy of the season into your body. Spend as much time doing this as you want. Again, this is another way to open and ignite your altar. Now take the second cup of water off the altar and imagine or use your hands to just shrink the circle that you cast, if you cast one, down until it's just around the altar itself and you are outside the circle. Then you can take that second cup of liquid and pour it out on the earth to connect the magic that you just did to the land, yard, balcony, potted plants around you. Here's one possible way that you might adapt this ritual to a larger group. I would start by asking each person to bring several altar objects Then together I would clear and bless the space in whatever way you normally work with people. Cast a circle if you choose, and then add one of the cups of water to the altar. Then each person adds their items to the altar, speaking about how they appreciate the summer, what it means to them, honoring the sun, and saying whatever they are called to say. If it's within your skill set and part of your practice as a group and everyone feels comfortable, someone could lead a brief trance to take you into the energy of summer and help that expand and become more real in your body. But this is not a necessary part of the ritual. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Then, if you choose, each person could make a personal wish, share a hope, a vision, a dream, and go around the circle clockwise until everyone feels done. Just keep going around until everyone feels complete and ready to stop that part of the ritual. If you choose, you can raise a little energy for the completion, and there's lots of ways that you can do that. You can send a pulse by squeezing the hand of the person next to you and having them pass that around the circle clockwise. You can sing together, you can tone together, or just move in a circle around the altar if you want, or move your hands around the altar if you choose. 3, 5, and 9 are all good numbers to make a rotation around the altar, but I actually think it's more powerful to just do it until it feels done to all of you. Then if you want, you can give it a little push and push that energy into the center of the altar. Pull your hands out of that energy. If you want, you can seal it by drawing a star with a circle around it, if that's part of something that you do. And then you can put your hands on the ground to earth and finish the energy for this part of the ritual. Then you can pass the second ritual cup around if you want, and everyone sips from it. This helps ground the ritual into your body, and you can have a feast after if you want. Then you can open the circle or just shrink it down if it's going to stay up for a while. There are so many ways you can change this ritual up to work for you and your group. Even getting together around a bonfire, sharing, feasting together can be incredibly powerful. You can plan a all-night vigil to speak and watch the sunrise and have a feast after. Last year, what I did for summer solstice was I made nocino, which is a green walnut liqueur that is created at summer solstice and then ages until winter solstice, and that was really fun. This year, there are several things that I'm going to do. I'm going to make a pink rose liqueur offering blend at summer solstice. I'm going to have some treat and snack time with my summer solstice class on Saturday with my students, and then solstice night itself I'm going to have a candle lighting ceremony with my Patreons where we light our summer candles together. I'm really excited about that, going live with that work. I'm also offering a pre-recorded video trance if any of you would like to explore the mystery of summer and step through the gates of summer sovereignty in that particular way. I'll put a link in the description in the comments. And of course, for you, it may be right to spend the day by yourself in quiet contemplation, and that is just perfect. I'd especially love to hear questions in the comments about planning summer solstice rituals or rituals in general or get-togethers. This can be a very simple thing to do, or it can be endlessly complex depending on your capacity and desires. I'm also, as always, putting equity links in the description below for groups that always need donations and volunteer work. Be sure to feed the algorithm gods by liking and subscribing and hitting that notification bell if you choose. And until next time, stay safe and be